Hello and welcome to episode number 95 of the Progress Pod. And today I'm joined by special guest Sean McCarthy, who is an online coach, an aspiring Hyrox athlete, and he's had a real interesting journey into the fitness industry, which I'm excited to chat about today. So welcome, Sean.
Nice one. Nice to be here, man. Episode 95, mate.
I know, mate. It's building up.
mental.
Been trying to think of what I could do for episode 100, man. So we'll have a think. But no, cheers for coming on, mate. How's things
man.
going?
Good, man. It's good. It's obviously busy, as you know, man, with being a coach and obviously being a Hyrox athlete as well now. It's full on, man. It's mental, and you feel like your diary's just literally never empty, man. So it's full, but it's for a good reason, man.
It's good, mate. I put on a kind of post up the other day, just putting on a few pictures, and I was like, things have been full on lately. But that's
big,
what you love it, mate. That's what
it feels like. It feels like it's genuinely. I've just never had a chance to just kind of sit and go, I'm breathing and do nothing. But again, that's a good thing.
That's good.
It's definitely a good thing, man.
100%. And in terms of how we normally start the guest podcast, is just a wee bit of background to yourself, mate. Just like where you're from, age, like just your kind of story from like growing up into how you got into the fitness industry.
Yeah, man. So I'm still only 23, which still quite young, man. I guess
it's crazy,
compared
mate.
to most people. So I've only been a coach for that's been about a year and a half now. But honestly, it's absolutely fluent since I've started coaching, and even the story of me becoming a coach is just a pretty different one, man. It's quite different to most people's, because I was a joiner to trade originally. Came out of school, became a joiner, which, to be honest, man, even coming out of school, I was even lucky to get that apprenticeship, man.
Aye.
With kind of the way my life was heading, the circles I was in, and the decisions I was making in my life. I was even lucky to get an apprenticeship, and then just even when I started it, I was just like, man, this isn't for me. I was just kind of like many people, just in the job just for the sake of having a job and having a wage and something to kind of cover my bills. But I was just like, I always knew I wanted to do something different, but I was just kind of too scared to ever just take a risk to go and start something, to do something else, because I was just kind of, right, this is my job, man, this is me now. So I was always passionate about things like the gym, and I was always looking at other things like, what can I do, how can I get out this job?
So were you still training regularly when you were so through kind of, when did you start kind of the gym getting involved?
It was genuinely like probably the first year into my apprenticeship, and the only reason I started the gym was genuinely because my work, like I was a joiner, and my boss actually said to me, like, we were trying to carry sheets or timber, and he was like, you need to go to the gym, man. I couldn't even carry, what was it, a sheet of plasterboard, couldn't get one of them above my head, and that's your job as an apprentice, you're just lifting things all day. They're like, you need to go to the gym. So that kind of started me to like get into the gym, and then I quite quickly, just like many people, fell in love with it. And then I done all my apprenticeship, and I was always just, it was like the further and further I got into it, the more and more I just didn't enjoy it. I was just like, I cannot see myself doing this for the rest of my life. It's just not going to happen. The only thing I was really enjoying at that moment was my training. Yeah, that was the only thing that was kind of bringing and keeping a good bit of structure in my life.
So rewinding back a wee bit then, so obviously you end up in the apprenticeship, but I take it when you were in school you weren't going, I'm going to be a joiner. I take it that's just something. So what was school life like, and then
my school life was mental, and I'll just quickly kind of summarise it, because honestly I could ramble for hours about school, but I said this the other day, and I don't even think I can put into words like how badly behaved like I was in school, like going from like the amount of times I've been flung out to like getting to the point where nearly like getting even taken off my mum and dad and all that. Like it was a kind of bad period for me, but again, I was just young and just unaware of a life, really, man. And I was just in the wrong crowds, making bad decisions and stuff like that. And at that point, I genuinely had no idea what I was going to do in my life. So that was how, like, when I said I got the apprenticeship, it was just like, I was happy I got something, because I was like, right, this is a wee bit of direction now. At least I kind of know where I'm going, and it's a start at least. But all through school, I just had no idea what I was going to do. Because I failed woodwork in school. Failed woodwork and then became a joiner. So I even failed PE as well. I might have passed PE, but I was just like, what am I going to do?
What was it like then when it kind of got to that point? Like, I'm coming to an age where I can leave school now. Like, what did I do? Was it kind of like, what can I do now?
It was, I never actually, because I just got the apprenticeship. That was the first job I applied for, actually. It was my dad that applied for me, because I was not even interested in it, and I just wanted to just kick about with my pals at that point. I was just drinking a lot. I was still young. I wasn't even at the age of drinking, but I was just drinking a lot, and I just didn't care. My dad was like, "Oh, I've applied for this apprenticeship for you. You're going to the interview." I went to it, sat there like a good wee boy and told them that I was this wee absolute charmer of a boy. Got the job, and then I was like, right, here we go, I'll take it. And then that kind of screwed the nut on me a wee bit. I was like, right, I've got a job now, I need to...
So what were you then, about 16?
16. I literally just turned 16, got my apprenticeship, and then it wasn't actually until lockdown where I actually had a bit more time to really just start thinking, right, where do I actually want to go in my life? That was where I started diving into things like podcasts and YouTube, and I dived into so many different things, like looking at the kind of general things you'd look at for like making money or whatever is like crypto, investing, stock market, like the property ladders, things like that. And I was like, all it just didn't make sense. It was good that I was starting to get those thoughts of, right, I want something bigger. I was starting to like, my vision was getting a bit bigger, and I was getting a bit more direction with where I wanted to go. But just I tried all these different things, and I tried like crypto. I went to property events and networking events and stuff like that. And even when I was like, I was like 17 at the time. So I was like, I knew something was going to, but I was just waiting for my big break. That was what I always used to say. I was like, when am I going to get my big break, man? Like, when's something going to happen? And then I never ever thought it was going to be like coaching. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm fucking an absolute millionaire or anything, but I'm now at a point where I'm just living life kind of on my own terms, and I've got freedom. I've got everything I kind of ever said I wanted. And
what was the kind of journey then? So you've apprenticeship, not really enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Lockdown obviously hit, so I take it you're no working at that point.
Yeah, no working.
So you've got time, you're starting to think a bit bigger, which is, to be fair, mate, at 17, 18, actually thinking about all these things is great, mate, because you'll get a lot of folk that would have just been like, I'm off work, man, happy days for however long it is. So that's a great start. And then what then, is that when you started doing some of the sort of TikTok stuff and things like that?
No, so I did go back to work after lockdown, but again, it was still just like, I was still just figuring out ways of like my escape plan. That was what I used to call it. I actually had it in an old book, and I can't find the book anywhere. And that was the first page yet, was my escape plan. Yeah. And it was just like genuinely like every page was just different things, like drop shipping and stocks and whatever, just me trying to basically get out of my job. And I never even thought about that. Never thought about content creation, never thought about coaching. That wasn't even ever in my head. I never thought that could get me out of my job. And then it wasn't until... Because I was still a wee bit of what could you call it? I was still a wee bit of a bam right, at that point, right? I was still going out drinking all the time. I just wasn't aligning with the person that I wanted to become. I wanted to be this financially free person, but I wasn't. Nothing was aligning, right? And then it wasn't until I was out one night and I was with my girlfriend, bumped into my ex-girlfriend, got in a fight, broke my hand. That was when I was then off work again. It was like lockdown again. So I was like, right, I'm off work again. And I had actually tried to post content before, like wasn't coaching or anything. I just posted a video of my gym transformation, and I went into work the next day, got slagged for it, and I took it down. So then this happened a couple of months later. I was off work with my broken hand, and then I was like, right, this is a chance to start posting some videos, and nobody's going to hold me back, nobody's going to slag me in work. And then genuinely they just took off for there, and I never ever went back to work. And then that was when my coaching started, and then it's all just kind of built up from there. Aye,
brilliant, mate. No, it's crazy to think though as well, man. Like, see if you, so it's weird things like that. So see if you didn't actually break your hand and you won the off work, you wouldn't have continued doing the videos because of what other people thought.
Literally, man, and that's why I say I've literally got it tattooed on me as well. It's like everything happens for a reason. Like I even said it about that boy as well. Like at that time, I was like, I hated him. Like I was like, next time I see him, he's getting it, man. And I see now, like he was genuinely
thanking him.
Genuinely changed my life, like genuinely. Like that was the pivotal point in my life, was like me breaking my hand. And although it seemed like genuinely at that point when I broke my hand, my life was like crumbling, man. I had just crashed my car and wrote my car off like a couple of weeks before that. So I was like genuinely, I was so skint. I had like no money. I was missing payments. I was in my overdraft. I broke my hand. I couldn't train. I couldn't go to work. I was like, what am I going to do here? I was genuinely at rock bottom. But again, now looking back, I realised that was the best position I could have been in, like that, because I was like, I just put my all into what I was going to do. And it wasn't until I started making the videos that like that was my escape plan. I was like, this is it. I was like, this is all it. Like everything else aside, I was like, I think the reason nothing else worked was because I just didn't care about it. Like I was just trying to get into property. I was trying to do this because I was like, oh man, people get rich doing this, but I didn't care about it.
It's hard to stick to something. I think. See if you've not got any passion about it, or a passion like in relation to it. So you try to stick in, work hard, and like put in loads of hours to something that you just don't like or you don't enjoy. It's tough going, man.
100%,
it's just like,
man.
It's hard.
It's literally like, as my mum said to me, like the pure well-known quote is like, if you love your job, you'll never work a a day in your life, and that's genuinely like even when people say to me, they're like, oh, my dad always says, he's like, oh, you working today? And I'm like, it feels weird even saying that because I don't feel like I work most times. Like, yes, I sit behind my laptop, my computer, but I'm like, I never really feel like, oh, I need to work tomorrow, I need to go to work. Like,
it's that Monday feeling, I think you just don't get it anymore. Like, I don't know, you'd have been the same when you had your old apprenticeship, you'd probably been on it most of the weekend. Yeah. And then you're like, it's Monday, man, and you were like, just dread waking up and like Sunday nights, Monday morning, pure like shaking and that, like this is not good. I know. But you just don't, that Monday, that's not a thing now for me. I just feel like every day is just like another day. It's actually weird because now I just love my Mondays the most. Like I love my Mondays, and another thing I've kind of done now, like the way I've kind of structured my week, is my Tuesdays are one day, because I used to hate Tuesdays more than a Monday when I was a joiner. I would just kind of get through a Monday. Tuesdays, I was like, oh my God, I hate a Tuesday, because it was like... You still get used to the week.
It wasn't the start of the week, but it wasn't like the end of the week. So my Tuesday's just a kind of day I've not got a lot on, and I just kind of get to kind of chill, and I think that's just because like I hated them that much. So I was like, right, I've earned this Tuesday just to do what I want.
I know, it's brilliant. It's also a shame as well, though, like there might be other folk in your position that I want to start something, and this is maybe something you can give a bit of advice on. It's like, if you hadn't broke your hand, like, do you think you would have still done the videos with guys in your work saying,
honestly no, but that's one thing I have said, like, as a bit of advice, is like, I was just waiting for something to happen to make me take action. Do you know what I mean? I was just waiting for something like that to happen for me to do it. And I think everyone who's maybe done well or got to a position where they're ultimately living a better lifestyle, they'll always say they wish they started sooner. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, you just need to already kind of put yourself in the shoes of you're already there. And then you'll end up saying, oh, I wish I started sooner. So the best time to start, no matter what age you are, is right now. Do you know what I mean? Because the longer you put it off, the less time you're going to have to build whatever you want to build or get to wherever you want to get to. It's even like with Hyrox as well now. I'm like, I wish I started sooner. Exactly. I wish I started this years ago.
Mate, I'm like, well, I'm 10 years older than you, mate. See, when you said you're 23, I'm like, that's mad. I'm like, I wish I'd started.
I know.
What when I was 23, mate, like, you've got so much time ahead of you, mate, which is mad. But like, as you say, everybody's goes their own path, mate, and that's just the way everything happens for a reason. That's what it is.
I think we all just kind of wait for the perfect time to start. And I was literally about to put like an Instagram story up, but I ended up kind of obviously being late coming here, and it was like a good quote I heard earlier on, and it was like saying people delay things for longer than it takes to actually do them. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I was putting off starting like making videos and all that for so long, and just because I was scared of the thoughts of others or whatever, or just scared of what other people were going to think of me. But by that point, it was like I could have had so much traction gained. I could have had.
You're the one having the last laugh anyway, mate. So it's like
it was so weird as well, man, because like many other people who maybe went down the same route as me and started posting content, I remember right at the start when I was still off work at the point, but I was just kind of isolated myself quite a lot, because I was like, I kind of needed to. I was like, because if I then was like going out with people or still talking to people or still in the same kind of group, I would have listened to them if I was still talking to them. So I just kind of isolated myself quite a lot, just to be like, I really need to get some momentum built with this and just kind of do my own thing. I just remember I was getting sent screenshots of my videos, getting sent into group chats and other stuff like that, and it was like a big like, But then I literally got a few months down the line, the same people who were sending me in the group chats were messaging me like, mate, your videos are brilliant, man, love your videos. And I was like, that's again another reason why I was like, why did I know just start sooner, man?
Nah, exactly, mate. But you started it, mate, and as you said, exactly, even though it did take a broken hand, mate, we started it. And with regards to your videos and stuff, what was it kind of, just to give anyone that's not really sure, like the background in terms of the videos, was it sort of gym transformations, gym videos, the funny videos that you put on, or you just rambling? Is that?
Yeah, man. I was like, at the start, it was kind of all planned. Like, I knew I wanted to become a PT, and I just kind of seen it from another boy that was in my gym. He literally was a PT. I don't think he was that busy at the start, and then he just grew a massive following, and then his PT just started booming. And I was like, wow. So I was like, I really need to just build a good following, build a good personal brand first, and then my coaching, launch my coaching, and it genuinely did kind of blow up from the start. Like, my coaching, it helped me become a better coach, and ultimately got me to the point I'm at now. And yeah, the videos all just started at the start, and it was kind of like a progression, and it's the same for anyone else who maybe wants to start posting videos. Like, they're always like, oh, I don't know how to talk to the camera. I didn't talk to the camera either at the start. It was like, if you watch back my videos, like, you'll even be the same. If you look back at your old content, you're like, it's terrible, man.
It's so
like
bad.
Some of mine's like, the quality was so bad. It was just like wee workout videos, transformation videos, and then it just progressed to me talking to the camera, and then my voiceovers, and then just me rambling in the car. But I did go through spells where I get completely lost for like the reason why I started making content, because you get addicted to views, you get addicted to followers.
How many followers did you manage to get up to in TikTok? Go up to it?
I think I'm just over 100k now.
Aye,
but again, it was like I seen a rapid point of growth and then it's kind of flatlined.
Yep.
But right now I haven't gained many followers, but I'm really happy with where my content's at, because it's all related to exactly what I'm doing. It's related to my coaching, it's related to the gym. There was one point you would have went on, not even my Instagram. My Instagram's a wee bit separate from that, but you'd have went on my TikTok and had no idea I was a coach.
Yeah.
You would have no clue. It was just videos of, like, even though they were funny, like, they would bring entertainment to people. It was like me doing like a voiceover of my dog. Like, you're like, like, it was funny and that, like, got a lot of views, got me a lot of followers, but I was like, is that doing me well for what I want to do, for my business, for anything? I was like, you're just getting lost in the views, and I'm not really doing that anymore, because I couldn't really care less about views or anything like that.
I suppose at the start, mate, sometimes it is just about the eyeballs on the page,
100%, man.
and you getting all these eyes, whether the content wasn't 100% related to coaching or not, is work for you, mate. Getting up to 100k followers, and then all of a sudden you can just say, so did you then at that point go, do you know what, I've been posting gym transformations, I've built up this massive following, it's now time to just go, do you know what, I'm offering coaching? Is that how you kind of worked it?
I did kind of launch the coaching right for the start, and it was always just kind of like my link was in my bio. But again, that's probably what we're going to dive into as well. Like, your coaching being on TikTok, it did attract a lot of wrong people, man.
We can dive into that, mate, because TikTok's actually one of the platforms that I've never went down that route, mate. I think I missed it like before my time, and then for me then to go just start diving into it now, I was just like, so I've missed it. But in terms of TikTok, in terms of getting business from it, just give us a few, few examples, mate.
Like, don't get me wrong, man, that is one thing. It's like, see the eyeballs you get for it, it's crazy. Like, if I could put up a good video and then I say, oh, click the link in my bio, I will get a ridiculous amount of like form applications or calls booked or whatever, but then about 80% of them are a waste of time. Like, there's been, at the start, it doesn't really happen anymore, because I would say I'm more of a kind of established coach now. But at the start, like, people didn't really know what it was. It was just like, there was a certain point where my TikTok was just booming. I had loads of people coming up to me in public, and it was just like, it was mental. I was just new to all this, and I was like,
what's going on?
The hell, man? People coming up to me in night suit, just being like, you're that guy off TikTok. And then I've put in book a one-to-one call with me, and I went on this call, and just, it was like a girl at the time, and she was just pure, oh my God, I can't believe I'm on FaceTime with you. And I was like, well, you're not on FaceTime with me. And then I would just see her phone just like that, popping up at the top, and she was just taking videos of me. And I was like, so then that just made me a bit wary, like, because it was like, I remember there was like 6 calls booked after that, and I was like, I don't want to go on any of them. And I was like, they could have all been potential like good clients, like actually taking this seriously, but I was just like, nah, man. And it was, there was a lot of, that happened a good couple of times. It was just people just coming on, and they would just be like, oh man, I love your videos, and just straight away.
And you just know straight away, man, it's like they're not interested in the coaching.
You would just know when they're not interested. So that's another reason why, again, I don't really do like calls or anything like that anymore. I'm just so sceptical about them.
I know, sometimes they can take a long time, especially if someone like yourself's got loads and loads of followers. You've probably got, as you said, 80% of them just like folk just coming on, just being nosy and all that, and just like, so in terms of like TikTok got you've then decided at that point, quit your job then, basically, after you broke your hand?
I literally never went back. I kind of rinsed the sick pay as long as I could, but I just never ever went back. And I even said that because at the point, like, I wasn't making really a lot of money, but I never had a car. I just wrote my car off. I was staying with my mum and dad. I had no bills. And I said that to my mum and dad, like, they didn't know what coaching was. They didn't understand what social media was. Like, they just remember PTs for back in the day, and they were like, you'd make more money as a joiner, Sean, what you doing? I told them, I went, I'm not going back to that job. I went, it's not happening. I went, I don't care if I'm not making anywhere near as much money as I was as a joiner. I went, I feel more fulfilled doing this. And the one thing I realised was, like, once I started like making money coaching, I was like, this is me now. Like, I can just, like, going for just, like, I genuinely just used to envy people so much that just, like, had the middle of the day off and that, and then I was like, this is me now. It was like, and that's one thing I value more than money, more than a big wage, anything, is just freedom, time freedom, man, and that's what I've got. That was one thing I always wanted, was to have locational freedom and freedom of time as well. Like, I've got the freedom to be able to choose my own schedule, pick my own hours, man, and that was one thing that was massive. So gone for like my job to then that was just It was a big switch, but it was amazing, man.
There's so many benefits, mate. Not even just the freedom as well, but also just like, as you mentioned, the fulfillment, mate. Actually enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I would take a less pay packet to actually enjoy what you're doing and
Yeah,
be like,
100%.
you know what, this is, I don't have that Monday fear anymore, and you enjoy it. Like, I'm similar in terms of different types of journeys, but I left a job, mate. I left an accounting job, man, and
which is classed as like a pure.
I can remember similar. Probably my mum and dad was like, "What do you mean?" And then like it's my father-in-law as well. Like, he'll see me like just in, he'll pop around the house or something. I'll be in. He's like, at the start, he's like, "Does Jordan not have any clients? Why is he not in the gym or that?" And I was like, "It's online coaching." He was like, and he just didn't understand it. He's like, he's left a job, man, as an accountant to do this, and I think they just didn't get it. But like you said, mate, see now thinking like, see the thought of having to go to like a corporate role or even just a role where you don't choose your hours now, I think I would struggle majorly. Having that freedom. And to be honest, like, do I take full days off, like not touching a single bit of work? Like, probably not many, because I like to keep in touch with my clients and all that sort of stuff, but I'd prefer that, to have the freedom of time. Do I sometimes pick up my laptop or whatever on a Saturday or Sunday? I will from time to time, but I have the freedom during the week, and I'd much prefer that, and the fulfillment and the enjoyment of 100%. Coaching.
That was what I was actually talking to. Like, I had my team call with all my clients last night, and I was like, we were literally just talking about like enjoying your job, enjoying what you're doing, and obviously them enjoying their training and all that. And it was like obviously 7 o'clock, and then even like last night I was kind of on my laptop until about 11 o'clock. But again, it's just because it didn't feel like work. I just felt like I was kind of sitting on my computer. I've got tunes on, and I was just kind of sitting there. Like, sometimes I actually even just sit on kind of like FaceTime to like my pals. Like, we're all pure weird. Like, some of us just always sit on FaceTime, but I can still just walk away, and it's just like weird that it just doesn't feel like I'm working. But again, it's just because I've got that big enjoyment factor where I'll happily just sit there till 11 o'clock. But that was what I said. I was like, when I was a joiner, it was like, as soon as I was home, catch you, I'm not sitting there till 7 o'clock. And
exactly.
And even being a joiner or whatever, like, I could have made good money, but I would have never had a minute to myself. I would have had to finish work, go home, I would straight to a homer, then it was like straight up, like home at 11 o'clock, and then straight back up the next morning. And it was like, I was making this good money, I bought myself a nice car and all that, but I was like, I've had a fucking minute to myself.
And also not enjoying it as well. I think that's massive. Like, see, as you say, you think about it, if you're not enjoying a job, you spend a lot of time working if you're full life. So if you're not enjoying it at all, imagine you're doing that, like, if you are doing homers at night, you're working 50 hours a week, 50 hours of your full week's just not enjoyable. You're just like wishing that time away. It's like, it isn't really a way to live. As you said, you're looking forward to, like, imagine the next 30 years, you're like, I've got 30 years of doing something that I really don't enjoy. 100%. And I think it's obviously difficult to, we're not selling people just to go, I'll just hand in your notice tomorrow and that's you. It's hard. You might need to do things, but find something you enjoy. If you need to do it in the side to begin with and build it up and do things, then like you can do that if you work hard. You can definitely, especially in today's day and age, mate, as you've just shown, you've just an online platform. Like, you've broke your hand and then used an online platform to actually completely change your life.
Yeah, like, it's crazy, man. Like, and that was one thing I would say, like, content creation or just building your own personal brand, like creating your own content is the easiest way to start something. Like, you know, like the things you can build off the back end of it, man, it's ridiculous. But I just, like, there's so many people I feel like that are in jobs just for the sake of being in a job, and it's just so draining. It's so draining, and it never gives you a chance to. I think that was why it took lockdown and it took me breaking my hand to actually start thinking and being like, because my energy wasn't getting drained every single day from being at a job that I didn't like.
Yep.
So then I was off work, and then it actually gave me more like clarity, more freedom in my mind to actually start thinking about, what do I actually want to do? What my life? What do I actually want to do? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? And when you're at a job every single day that you don't enjoy, it's like you've never got that chance to actually just sit there and go, right, what do I want to do? So that's why it's like you need to kind of take advantage of any time you have 100%. To just really have a think about. That's why I'm like massive with all my clients as well. It's just like, I know it makes sound like I'm banging on about the same stuff with them all the time, but it's just like reminding them, like, people need reminded more than they need taught as well, isn't it? Just reminded of, right, have a think, have a reflect on where you want to be, where you want to go, what you want to do. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think as well, it's funny you say lockdown. Lockdown was what was for me as well, because I never had the commute to work anymore. I felt like, although I was still working from home in my work, things were a bit, because everything was shut and all that, it was still a bit, I felt I had more time. And I was sitting going, like you were saying, I was like, do I want to be sitting here for the rest of the next 30 years doing this? And then, like, I'd kind of went into that role just because it was just like, this is what I thought I should do. Like, she was like, right, I left school, I went to uni, then I got a decent job, and I was just like, right, this is just kind of like this is what's the norm, this is what I need to try and do. And I was sitting, and it wasn't until I was in lockdown, I was like, I've went through all this journey, man, for the last like 10 years, and really, have I ever sat and thought, do I actually want to do this? I was like, no, like, I didn't absolutely despise my job, like, I didn't like dread it, but I was not fulfilled, and I can't say I enjoyed it. I wasn't going to work going like I am now, like happy days, like looking forward to it. I was just like, I was sitting in, that was the same lockdown, just gave me a bit of time, and I was going, actual think here, like I've got so that's when during lockdown I decided to do my online PT stuff, and then just built it for there as well, mate. So
lockdown was a massive point for people. It's either the kind of making or the breaking point for a lot of people, do you know what I mean?
Definitely, mate.
Because the first half of it as well, I was just like, this is brilliant, man. I remember I sat on PlayStation for like genuinely about 2 days straight, and I was just drinking, and then it was like, right, time to do something, man.
No, and I think obviously we met like over a year ago now as part of Chris Bradley's mentorship in there, and I've already mentioned like you're at a young age and you've got your head screwed on early. Like even me thinking of like signing up to a mentorship and investing my money at that age is crazy. Like we've obviously went through different kind of stages. My madness stage was probably like early 20s to like 25 before I started like screwing it up. Whereas you sound like you maybe had your madness stage early on, but you've already screwed your head.
I'm happy. Now that I look back and reflect on it, I'm so happy I got it out
the system.
Out my system early, because I was actually talking to somebody about that the other day. Like my group of friends, I was like going through school, I was the baddest out of us all. I was the one that was like taking drugs, none of them were. I was the one drinking, smoking stuff like that, and none of them were. And like all their mums and dads didn't like me, and they were like, "You're not hanging about with him, he's trouble." But I was happy I got it done at that age, because I got it all out my system, and now they're all playing catch up and they're all doing it now. They've not got it out their system yet. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing all that stuff now, and I got it out my system, got it out the way, and done it all, man. When I was kind of happy, and sometimes I just feel like that's kind of the best thing.
No, definitely. So that's true. Like, well, what age were you when you signed up to Chris's stuff? 21, something like that? 22?
Probably 21, 22,
so
yeah.
21, already building your own business, like investing money to grow it. At this point, where like online coach, gym going well, then I think it's at this point has the drinking and that sort of stuff kind of calmed down a bit, because you've now kind of fully focused in on your business.
Completely, and I feel like I've just got such a different view on like drinking. Like I genuinely don't really drink. I'm kind of, I would say, really sober. I'm not completely sober, because I always say that like I'm not like teetotal or anything like that, but I like having the power just to know that I can have a drink if I want. But I just don't really choose to do it, because I feel like I've kind of a lot of responsibilities, and my training and stuff's just kind of my main focus and stuff like that. But to touch on what you said, even with like the investing in Chris Bradley and the mentorship, man, I still remember that was one of the scariest points in my life, man. Like, because I was so new to coaching as well. I wasn't making that much money, and then I was like, what am I doing here, man? What am I doing here? But again, it was like, even looking back on it, even though I'm not involved in the mentorship now, I know you still are, it was probably still one of the best investments I've made, man, because ultimately I might not have pure gained tons of value from it or whatever, but I feel like I gained so much kind of self-belief in myself, because I was like, I've invested my money into myself. You know what I mean? It was an investment into myself, and it just ultimately, I feel like I gained so much self-belief from it a wee bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. I fully agree. And from that, just reminding back then on this point, so great journey, mate, right into coaching. So just take us back even recently. So at this point, though, training in the gym, the clients are kind of coaching. What's the style of training? Because we hadn't dived into Hyrox at this point, had we? Yeah,
no, this is one thing that I was actually kind of sitting writing down this morning, because I'm just like, the main kind of clients we work with is just typically fat loss, like body composition, fat loss, building muscle. And I still love coaching those types of people, because I feel like you get so much satisfaction at the end of their transformation. Like you see the buzz from them, from dropping body fat, building muscle tissue, hitting PBs, and I still love that. But now my kind of passion lies in Hyrox, so I want to kind of dive into that a wee bit more. I've got a couple of my clients. Coached my first client for his Hyrox, and I even said to him, and I've said online openly, like, I didn't really know how to coach him that much for it. Even though I've done it myself, I was like, I still didn't really know. So I kind of used him as a guinea pig, and he kind of knew that. He was absolutely fine with that. He was brand new. He's one of my longest selling clients. So I really want to start diving into that side of coaching, like more performance side of coaching. Because it's where my passion lies. But
Yeah. And
again,
your training, then what was your training initially? So when you started coaching,
it was just
bodybuilding?
just
Style?
bodybuilding. So I had done a bodybuilding show back in 2023. I'd just started coaching. That was just off the back of my hand as well, because I just kind of locked in with everything. I was like, right, started my coaching, started content. And I feel like that's the kind of route maybe every coach sometimes feels like they need to do. I feel like they feel obliged, like they need to do a bodybuilding show or something. They need to do a photo shoot.
Or something like that.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, it was a photo shoot initially, and then I ended up competing. And that was one of the worst things ever. That made me completely fall out of love with training and bodybuilding. And I feel like that's what happens. People either do a show and fall in love with bodybuilding or they hate it. It genuinely ruined me, man. Ruined my relationship at the time. It ruined just felt like my mental health and everything. It was just horrible. And then for maybe 6 to 8 months after that, I was just cruising, man. I was just like kind of going through the motions, just still doing your standard push-pull legs. My physique didn't get any better. And funny enough, I remember Hyrox coming about, and I remember going on my Instagram, I remember that, what is this pish, man? People jumping about with their taps off, coloured socks on, and then I think I was just too scared to go and try it. Again, just too scared to try something new. And it wasn't until I was like doing a YouTube video, and I just went in and I was like, do you want to jump in this conditioning session? I finished it and I was like, that was amazing.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever known anyone now, like, because I've got 2 of my pals just into it as well, and they finished a session. I've never met anyone that's finished a Hyrox session, finished a conditioning session, and no felt amazing after it.
Yeah.
And that was just where it just all stemmed from there, and I just never really went back to bodybuilding. And this is the only real point where I just feel like I've genuinely found my purpose with like training and everything. And for the first time in a long, long time, like probably comparing it to the time when I like broke my hand, this is the first time my path has just felt so clear. Like I know exactly where I'm going, and I know exactly what I need to do and exactly how I need to get there. Like putting a big focus on myself as an athlete, I feel is obviously going to reflect into my coaching and just everything else, really.
Definitely, mate.
I mean?
And I think as well, before that, had you done any like running in it like at all? Had you done any sort of conditioning stuff in the past, or just purely
football? That was my kind of background, but that was like years and years ago. And I was talking to my flatmate last night about it, because he was the one I took to do a conditioning session. So he's kind of diving into it now, and he was like hardcore bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And he was like, mate, it was a year ago last week that I took you in your first 5K.
Yeah. And
I was like, that's mental. So that's one thing I'm going to do pretty soon, is I'm going to go and test my 5K, because my last 5K when we done it was like 25 minutes. So
we'll be well faster than that now, mate.
I would like to go and see like where it's at now. So I remember him just being like, because we were going on holiday, I believe, and I was like, right, I need to get fit. So we were doing like kind of double sessions every day. We were doing like push in the morning, and we started doing a bit of running, and that was where it all kind of stemmed from. So nah, man, I had no real background to it, but then I think I just had that kind of speed, that agility, that endurance just for my kind of footballing past.
Because it's like as if you've kind of just like dropped into it, and like it's just if this was where you were meant to be, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly
from myself looking in, I'm like you just came in, and I know we met a couple of Hyrox events and stuff, and I know you did your first solo, first flag, which is not many people can say that, to be honest, mate. We'll come into the kind of Hyrox thing, but to not really have, like for me coming into Hyrox, I've got quite a big running background, so I'm already like coming in with like a running background, so I knew that like if I worked in the sort of the strength and conditioning stuff, I should be fine. Whereas with you, just being pretty much purely bodybuilding, going right in to then hitting a podium first straight away, is like that's like natural sort of talents there for the sport, which is brilliant. I know you're training in at Affit now as well, which is good, training amongst other folk. What do you think about the Hyrox community as well, mate? That's another thing.
I think it's actually amazing. Like even with Affit, right? This is what I said. I just went to Malaga, and I said that when I was there with them. I went, I've known you for a month. And I went on holiday with them, and we all just, it was as if we've known one another for years, but it's just because we all share one common interest, and that is training.
Yep.
We talk about other things. We don't just sit there and just talk about ski hugs and side pushes. Like we don't just sit and, but we're all just got one thing in common, and that is training. And it was genuinely like we always have something to talk about. There's never going to be like, if I was just to go and grab 4 random people and just go to Malaga with them, it would be like, what would we talk about? What would we do? Where would we go at night? It would just be awkward. But we all share one thing in common, but we're all just talking about our training. I've genuinely known them for less than 2 months, and I went on holiday with them, and it was as if I've known them for years. And that's just because the community that not just that Hyrox is built, but the Jerry's built in his gym as well. Because that was one thing that really just took me to the next level. Like I was doing my training in another gym, and it was just me and my training partner at the time, Chris. And there was nobody else. Like me and Chris were at a similar level, but there was nobody else in the gym. Like that we were like, wow, man, they're smashing it. And there was nobody for us to chase. And then I remember I just met Jerry and seen some of his stuff online, and I resonated with it a lot. I loved these kind of message he was sending out. And then I went down to the gym and I was like, wow, man, I'm miles away. I was like, there's people that were absolutely flying, and that's exactly what I said about that Hyrox at the weekend. I was happy to be surrounded by, even though they beat us, I was happy to be surrounded by those guys. And that's the way I always want to be going forward. I always want to just be with people who are going to push me higher. It was the same with the mentorship. See, when I came in and I was like, wow, man, there's people like seriously smashing this game, even with yourself. Like, you've done a lot of talks at events, man, that genuinely I was like, this is amazing. And that's just the people I always want to be surrounded by, man.
There's so much power in that, mate. There's so much power in surrounding yourself with folk. And not to say you can't get fit and achieve great levels just training yourself. You can, obviously, but you'll know the difference, mate, when you just get surrounded by other people that are ahead of you and just like you push each other on.
Yeah, 100%,
like if you're in the middle of a conditioning session with somebody else who's like kind of similar to you neck, and you're like, you'll push that wee bit harder for that full session, because you'll be like, even though it's not a competition as such, mate, but you make it in your head, don't you?
You make it, and you're like, right, 100%.
And that just drives you on, and it drives the other person on. It can only be a good thing, as opposed to if you're in the gym yourself, you're maybe not feeling it 100%. You naturally you slow it down.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe just, do you know what?
It's like a glass ceiling, innit? It's like you're just subconsciously not going to push yourself that wee extra mile because there's nobody in front of you. You're the best ultimately. Do you know what I mean? And that's why, again, I now just love being in a group setting. Like, as much as I sometimes like training myself, I love being in the kind of group environment with other people, because there's somebody for me to chase, but there's also somebody that you're probably helping as well.
Yeah.
So I just think it's massive, man. And again, if you're surrounded by a good group of people, then you all want to help one another. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
And I think it's great as well. Like, even nowadays with Hyrox, you said you're just back from Malaga. Me and you have met in Poznan, Dublin, like all various places, mate. And like, it's great when you go over there and you just see all similar faces. Like, it's great, and everyone, as you said, sharing a kind of common goal. And it's good to have something that's like that. Like, guys like your age, I've had young Bradley on the podcast, Luke and stuff like that, and like even seeing these guys at your age, that's a main focus for them, pushing hard, as opposed to like when I was probably early 20, like 18, 19, 20, really at the weekend it was like, we're going to the pub, mate. That was really it. That's it, man. And see, having something like this, to have your head focused, screwed on, like it's amazing, mate. I think it's just brilliant.
And it's like Bradley will come from like a similar background to me, and there's so many other people out there, and that's the kind of people I always want to try and resonate with and kind of reach. Is like, there's so many people just like obviously living for the weekend, as they always say, man. And this is just like, I believe the amount of people, I believe that's the people that are kind of best at this when you've came from a kind of darker background, because they're able to just go to a wee dark place when they're in that race. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I always said about like Bradley as well. I was like, I think that's how he's so good at it, man, because he can just go to a real wee dark place, man, and finish that race. But it's just, it gives you something to focus on, constantly focus on, keeps you in a good routine, keeps you structured, gives you something to work towards. And like, even if you go there and you're not winning, you're not getting a flag, like, you just feel amazing regardless. Yeah. Right? Because you're going out there, you're leaving it all out there, you cross that finish line and you get a massive sense of achievement. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing, mate.
Yeah, so I agree so much, mate. And in terms of your journey so far in Hyrox, your races, like I know you did a couple of doubles first and foremost. Like, chat us through like your journey in Hyrox so far.
Yeah, so again, see, like I said, the first gym that I trained in with me and Chris, because I had just been introduced to it, I started noticing myself getting fitter, like getting better at all the stations and stuff like that. We'd done a couple of simulations and I was like, mate, we're winning this. Because I'd never been to one, I'd never seen MD else. I didn't even follow MD on Instagram that was doing Hyrox, so I was the only kind of person, me and Chris. I was like, man, we're winning this. Went there and we done Milan, got humbled, we got an hour and 9 minutes. Yeah. And then me and Chris done 3 together. We got better every single one. Then we done Poznan, I believe we got like an hour and 3 there. Yeah. But Poznan was where I really started seeing people like yourself, Bradley, who else, Scott Highlands, all these types of guys that I was like, wow, man, like there's levels to this. People doing 2 races in the one weekend. I was like, what's going on here? And then we done Dublin, we got our sub 60. That was just a massive goal for us. And then the next one I hadn't done until that was meant to be my first solo. I was like, right, I wanted to try a solo now, and it was meant to be Glasgow. But then, like I said, my client was competing in one. That was my first client I was coaching for one, and he was going to Germany. And I was like, I'm just going to go and do one. And I never told a soul about it, but I'd been working my arse off up until that point. And then I went and obviously managed to get a flag, which I was over the moon with, man. I never ever even expect. Well, I did kind of, because I went into Germany where I had a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I'd done a lot of, like, something I've kind of dived into a lot now recently is visualisation. I'd visualised everything, and I kind of went into that quite confident that I was going to do well. I was capable. I knew I was capable. I'd done simulations and that before it, and then Glasgow was just a bit of a shit show, man. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't great, but the lead up to it was, again, like, I was kind of expecting that to happen. I was obviously injured. I was ill the week of it, and I hate being like that and feeling like I'm pure excusing myself, or this is an excuse how I could have done better. But again, I'm still absolutely buzzing with Glasgow. The fact that I even crossed the finish line, I learned so much about myself that I've got that bit of grit. Like, I was in a world of pain that full race. I still managed to push through, cross the finish line, and get another in 5 minutes, which again I still can't be mad at all.
That's what I'm saying, mate. First season, and that's what was your first one then, like October time or something like that?
October was my very first.
Not even been doing this for 6 months, mate. You've not even done a Hyrox for 6 months. Already got your first flag. You've already qualified for the World Championships. Like, and this is without actually having like any sort of Hyrox running background. It's only exciting stuff, and you're only 23 as well, mate.
I know.
Loads of things, and then another flag at the weekend there, mate, in Malaga.
Yeah, in Malaga.
Was that the relay? How did you find the relay, mate? What stations did you do?
I done the burpees and farmers carry, right. So there was only one station in between me, which it was kind of alright, but I was underestimated it so much. It is so much harder than I thought, because like you're just absolutely redlining it.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like 3 laps at Malaga course, and in your head you're like, you just think the course is smaller than it is. I came out and just sent it, and I was like, I've still got 2 laps to go, and I couldn't breathe. Got to the burpees, and I was like, I couldn't even get a breath out. I was like, you just need to go.
It's just so intense, mate, and it's just like, it's good fun in a sense, but it's also horrendous, mate.
Because I get back in like after my farmers carry, and I just slapped a boy in, and I just fell to my knees, and I was just like, I didn't even know how to get my breath back, because I was out of breath, and I was like sweating, and I was like cold, and I was like, I just felt like I was like ill. And I was like, just because my heart rate must have been at about 210, like easily. It was ridiculous, but again, at the end of it, it was a good buzz, man.
Like, especially getting a podium and another flag to take home. And so that's you done the doubles, the solo and relay. Like, what do you find solo doubles? What do you prefer?
I think doubles are a good bit of fun.
Yeah,
I think they're a good bit of fun, but I really enjoy solos.
Yeah,
I just enjoy kind of my own wee kind of battle.
You just focus on yourself, mate. You don't need to worry about transitions or when you're swapping this. It's just like zone in, man.
Literally, like, there's no a lot of, and apart from like counting the laps, which I'm absolutely terrible at, but there's no a lot of like brain power in it, like you said, like the transitions and all that kind of stuff. I just like the solos a lot, and I'm quite lucky because I'm like the under 24 category, so it is quite. It's not easy to get a flag because there's still a lot of really good competition. Like you've got Bradley, you've got Luke, a lot of animals in that age category, but like compared to other age categories, it's a lot easier. Because even Malaga there, I was meant to do a solo, and I would have got a flag as well. I'm pretty confident I would have came first. I think first place getting over in like 1 minute, and I'm pretty confident I would have probably beat that. So it's a good chance for me to really just pick up a lot of success and gain a lot of momentum with it. As I'm going, do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So that when I get into the older categories,
so much. And I think as well with regards to up next, have you got anything else before Chicago?
No, I'm literally just, because that's been like the past 3 weekends. It's been like Germany, then it was like straight into a taper week for Glasgow. Done Glasgow, I done 2 races at Glasgow, and then it was taper week, and then 2 races at the weekend. And I'm like, right, I just need to spend a bit of time just
especially going up to the pro weights.
That's what I mean. Like, I really wanted to maybe go, because I was going to do a pro solo on Saturday, but the only reason I never was because they weren't letting us change the names.
Right, okay.
So it would have been somebody else's name, and I would have been a different age category, and I'd get absolutely pumped probably. But that's one thing. I'm like, I've kind of took my eye off the ball with my strength work a lot, and I've noticed myself, even looking at my physique, I'm like, I've lost a lot of size, and I just feel a wee bit weaker. I don't know if that's just because I've done so many races in the past couple of weeks.
It's hard, mate. See, when you're constantly doing, I went through a stage in like October, November time where it was like an event after an event after an event after an event, and it's just, as you say, constant taper, recover, no chance to actually build and make progress. So if you actually keep doing that for too long, you will start to kind of lose a bit of strength, lose a bit, you go back. So it's a good chance you've got probably 3 3 months for something now, just to go, right, let's head down and build. And obviously Chicago first, I'd imagine your goal there just to go give it a best shot, just enjoy it.
It's 100%. I'm not expecting to go there and win, because I know the competition, but it's just to go and enjoy myself. That's one thing I've learned now as well, man, is like you just, because that second race I done at Glasgow, right, it was a doubles and it ended up being a bit of a shambles. We were going to get a good time, but like I got into wall balls and my partner was away doing another lap. Then we got a 5 minute.
Well, you ran in and they just kept running.
I ran in, it was like that, and then he wasn't there. I was like, oh no. And then we got a 5 minute penalty, so our time ended up being terrible, but I genuinely came off and I was like, I enjoyed that so much. That was such a fun race. And I was like, that's the approach I just need to take now, man. It's like you put so much pressure on a race, so much pressure on your own shoulders to like get a flag, and then if you don't get it, you're just let down. I know. So my main goal is just to like go and just enjoy my race, man, and enjoy the full the full like event, man, because it'll be crazy. It'll be such a cool event to be at, and obviously go and can try my best. I still want to kind of make my mark. That was my kind of goal with, like, even when I went to Jerry, I was like, mate, I want to make my mark, because I felt like with me as well, it maybe looked like I was just another like influencer or content creator who's just jumping on the Hyrox hype. But I was like, I said to Jerry, I went, I know my abilities. I know how good I can do at this, mate. So I want to like prove people wrong, and I want to make my mark in this sport. And that's kind of what I want to do at the Worlds. I don't just want to see, I'm some guy that got lucky and get a pure fluke at his first solo, and then I come like 900.
No, I'm sure you won't, mate.
Because that was a lot of the thoughts I had as well. Like, that was why I went and booked the doubles at Glasgow, even though I was injured. Like, the day after the race, I just had so much self-doubt. Like, I was like, that first one was a fluke. I'm nowhere near where I thought I was. Like, it was just lucky that first time. And I was like, what chance have I got when I go to Chicago? I'm going to get smoked. So I just jumped in and done a doubles with a boy on the Sunday. I was like, because I had the Malaga doubles the next week, I was like, I just need a bit of confidence back. And that was all the race was. I didn't care about a flag. I didn't care about winning. I just needed that mojo back. I enjoyed the race, and it just gave me... I was like, right, no, I know where I'm at now for going into next weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a fine line, mate, because you do want to pressure yourself a bit, because you do want to do well, and you do. But if you go too much, like, it has a negative impact. Like, see, I raced with Scott Highlands in Poland a couple of months ago, and I was like, see, before it, I knew that if me and him performed, we'd probably get a flag, mate. I just knew that if we both performed well. Yeah. But see, just that pressure, mate, because I was like, that flag's there, mate, and I just pure pressurised myself. Like, if I don't get this, it's going to be like a doubt. Like, people will be saying, like, why have they not got it? And honestly, mate, it definitely impacted me. I actually felt, even though we did win, I felt horrendous during that full race, and I think it was just because I got myself too worked up before.
100%.
Whereas at Glasgow, just doing my first pro there. See, because it was my first ever pro solo, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go into it, man. I'm going to give it everything. But like, whatever it is, that will just be my benchmark. And see, just going in, relax, mate. I felt amazing throughout the full race, man. And it just makes, and you'd have been the same with that doubles race. See, because you were like, it's no pressure. I just want to go in and do this, and whatever happens, and you're probably feeling brilliant, mate. You're probably feeling really good. So it is about trying to get that balance of, yes, you want to pressure, you do want to set your bar high, set goals, but it is about trying to say, right, okay, like, if this race doesn't go to plan, like, there's going to be more. Like, just try and relax, try and go and, you know, you trust your training. Like you said, when you were going to Germany, you knew that you'd put work in, you knew you felt confident. It's about feeling confident, mate, but not like actually crippling yourself with pure nerves.
That's exactly the kind of approach I'm going to take going forward as well, because Glasgow, even though it was my injury, I'm not putting that down to the only reason why the race was terrible. I just came about it the full wrong way. I came out absolutely flying. It was my hometown. Like, My Protein were there. Like, they kind of wanted to no sponsor me for the race, but I was obviously up with My Protein, so they were like, right, they came and like put a sticker on me, and I was like racing for My Protein. So they were there. They were like filming me at the start line. Aye. All my friends were there. Everyone was there watching me, and I was like, and then before you knew it, I was gushed. But again, it was like that. I literally said to my pals, I was like, oh, he's want to come down and watch me getting a flag. I was, again, like, had that confidence. I was like, I'm going to get a flag. And then it just went terribly. And then it was like, again, that's just when you put that pressure on yourself initially, it's going to be a tough mental battle throughout the entire thing. Whereas when you just take the approach like you took with your pro solo, it's when you just enjoy it, you're going to cruise through the race much better, man. Like, do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And just at the tail end, you're probably still going to be just the same way you are at the start, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And in terms of your goals next, mate, so obviously we've got Chicago, but what's your obviously Hyrox is the main focus
Aye,
today.
aye.
What's your kind of longer term goals in Hyrox over the next few years?
Again, I'm just waiting for the Hyrox hype to kind of die down for myself. That's where all my kind of interest lies at the moment. But again, after that, it's just like I really want to do more like running as well. I'd love to do like a marathon, love to do an ultra. I'd love to do something like that. But again, that's sort of just kind of different from Hyrox. I'll take a complete different approach in training block and stuff like that. But again, I just really want to do things that really challenge me.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Hyrox is like how hard you actually push yourself, how like much mental toughness and you gain from it.
Yeah.
So I just now love things that just challenge me, man, and not just horrible.
Yeah.
So like things like ultras and all that, I think will like really. And further down the line, I would love to do like an Ironman or something.
Yeah.
Again, that's something I think would really interest me because I just love all these things that you get to like travel abroad and all that. Even though you're the one that still has to pay the money for it. You know what I mean? I think that's what you forget. Like I think I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, they're talking about the World Championships. Nah, that's amazing. They're flying you to Chicago. I was like, no, you still need to pay for it. They're like, what? That was my dad actually. Like, that's amazing. They're flying you out there, Chicago. I was like, no, you still need to pay for it. But again, it's like you don't mind spending the money. Like it's not like you're just going to Ibiza and blow turn all your money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like I'm going these holidays, I'm travelling, I'm seeing the world, and I'm doing things that'll just make me a better version of myself, man. It's brilliant. So yeah, going forward, just still kind of Hyrox focused, but really just want to do more big, massive achievements that not a lot of people can say that they've done, like Ironmans, marathons, all these types of things, and just diving into loads of different things, really.
Brilliant. And any specific in Hyrox? Any specific targets you're like, do you know what, I want to get a flag at World Championships, or I want to do X, Y, Z, or is it just let's just keep working at it and see where we get?
Literally just keep working. Like again, I kind of just know my, and it's like we look Ennis actually said, because I actually watched these, I actually watched this podcast with you as well. It's like I do want to be anything I go into, I want to be the best at it. Like I'll be all in with it, and I don't want to just be another average guy that just does Hyrox. I want to be the best at it. Of course, I want to be a world champion. I know it's going to take a long time, so I'm genuinely just going to keep putting the work in and doing what I need to do. Like I said, I know my path is so clear right now. I know what I need to do and I know how I'm going to get there. And like I was talking about, like even the guys I was racing about at the weekend were, and this is what Jerry says to me, so I'm like, oh, have you seen like, oh, that Ollie Russell? Have you seen this guy? Have you seen this boy? He's like, that's the way you want people talking about you.
Yeah.
And that is the way I want people talking about. I want people going, wow, have you seen what he's doing? Have you seen what he's done? And that's essentially the stage I want to get to. I want to be known for the guy in that spot.
Making statements, mate, and then as you say, you want to get to a race and you've got, Sean's racing, man, or whatever. And
exactly. I want people to be like, oh, fuck, I'm racing against Sean this weekend. That's the kind of stage I want to get to, man. Like,
no, good, mate. And the fact you're already getting flags, we're pretty much at that stage, mate. I'm pretty sure when you go to your next race and the rest of the folk in your age group, they'll be knowing your name, mate. So no, it's great to see, and I love, that's one of the reasons I want to get you on as well. I love seeing more and more people getting into the Hyrox side of things. I can already tell you, like, I'm massively in on it. I'm going to go all in this year. I think and beyond, just for all the reasons we talked about, mate. It's just such a good way of training, mate, for all round, your strength, your running, conditioning, 100%. Keeps you feeling fit, physique looks in great shape, like you're able to train more in groups with other folk, the community aspect of it, get to travel, see the world, meet other people in that are similar to you. Like actually, the list goes on and on.
You've just listed it like exactly the way you've listed it. Who wouldn't want to go? I want to do that.
Exactly.
And I believe it's so best for people who are maybe burnt out with their training a wee bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Who are just feeling like they're just going to the gym, they're bulking, they're cutting, and you're just like, this is boring, man.
Yeah.
That's the perfect stage to go and try something new, to go and try, because that was me. I just didn't know any other way of training. I was like, I didn't know, I just knew kind of like CrossFit or running. I was like, nah, I'm not into them.
Yeah.
And then this is just a combination of really everything, man.
Because you still get to do your strength training, but you still do your bodybuilding work, but then also you've got everything else added in. It's just, as you say, it mixes things up. So that's great, mate. And I
think it'll ever die down at any point. Can you see it?
So I think the hype, like right now it's obviously going through that massive growth stage. We see kind of what you said about your TikTok, mate. It went through this massive growth stage, but then it kind of stayed. But you've not as if you just dipped off followers. I think what will happen is the growth will keep going for a while, and then it will probably sting. But I don't think it's ever going anywhere, mate. I think it's going to, over the next 3, 4, 5 years, definitely going to keep that growth. Then maybe after that, it might just might like sustain, I think, but it's not. It will still be going big, mate. The Hyrox are still learning, mate, as well. Like all the things that they're trying to do and try to sort out. I think over the next 3 to 5 years, you will see everything coming more like solid. I actually think you will eventually start seeing like Hyrox arenas, mate, in cities. Like, so obviously you go just now and it's like a different arena and it's a different place all the time, and the laps are different and all that. I reckon they will start making like kind of Hyrox arenas in cities, which throughout the year can be used for folk like gyms and stuff that want to train in. But it just means that you. Probably not everywhere, but the main cities, you would go and you're at you're going to the exact same as another place. I can see something like that happening, mate, and I think I don't think it's going anywhere, mate. I think, as you said, the growth of it as it's now will eventually slow down. But everybody who's in it, mate, like as you say, we've coached quite a few clients now through Hyrox, and I've not spoke to one of them that doesn't want to book another one. Like there's not one that's went, I didn't like that, I'm not doing that anymore. Every single member has done it and wanted to do another one. What's the next one? So it's because you've got that like that kind of progression in it. Do you know what I mean? Like go and beat your next time. Yeah. And now like who was it? It was Chris McSherry actually that put up a post about it, and I was like, that's the best way to describe it. He went, Hyrox is the same, but it's different every time. Yeah. Like, it's the exact same stations, and my dad said that. He was like, does it ever change? I was like, no. It's the exact same all the time, but it's so different. Every race is different. Like you said, you go and you enjoy some, you don't enjoy some. So then if you don't enjoy it, you want redemption in your next one. Yeah. And then if you do well, right, I want to do better. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, even the different stations as well. One race you'll be like, I flew through the farmers. Then the next time you're like, you drop them and you're like, what's going on? And you're like, and every time there's like different, you're waiting to try and get them all nailed at once. But then, because you have so much data off the back of it as well, you can actually see like, where did I place in this station? Right, okay, I need to work on that. And it's just like so many elements of progress. And I actually like that it's the same all the time. Because, like in terms of the format, I know every race is different, but see, because it's the same, you can actually see progress in it, 100%. As opposed to say CrossFit events, for instance. Like CrossFit's great, but what I wouldn't like about it is when you go to a competition, it's completely different every time. Yeah. So you're just like, right, in this competition, whereas I really like the kind of, right, a running event as well. If you do a marathon, next time you go and do a marathon, the course will be different because some might have hills, whatever, but it's at the same distance. You know what pace you need to be hitting. I know what I need to beat from my last time. That I prefer things that I know that's going to be. I can actually see progress on each thing. 100%. So that's why I think, because somebody asked me that, there's no change. That'll just get boring. But I was like, well, marathons have been around for years, and that's just the same. That's just the same thing. It's just running. That's even less. So I was just like, I don't see it going anywhere, mate. And no, it's exciting. It's exciting to be involved in it, mate. And
I love it, man.
It's good.
And it's like I literally don't think a day has went past over the last 6 months where I've not spoke about Hyrox. Like, because even not a lot of my clients, like I said, there's only 2 of my clients currently that are doing Hyrox, and I'm coaching for Hyrox. And literally, like, all my Monday night calls and all that, I'll just banging on about Hyrox, and they'll probably just like, mate, shut up, man. I was like, Hyrox. But I believe that's a good stage to be at if you are obsessed with something, because it means you're going to do well with it.
Nobody is up at the top of the sport that's not obsessed, mate.
Exactly.
That's so true, mate. So, that's been a great chat, mate. Anything else you want to chat about? Any advice or any messages you want to close off on, or anything that you
No, man, I think we've covered a lot of good points, man. And anytime I just try and come up with something off the top of my head, I end up just rambling anyway.
No worries.
But man, I feel that was a good chat, mate. That was class, man.
Definitely. And just for the listeners, mate, who don't follow you now, whatever, where's best to get you? Is it Instagram or TikTok
Instagram.
as well?
My Instagram is Sean. I don't even know what my Instagram is. I think it's SeanMcCarthy.dt, and then my TikTok is just Sean McCarthy.
Brilliant, mate.
Which you can go and lose some brain cells watching some of the videos if you want.
No, if you haven't watched Sean's videos on Instagram, they're pretty hysterical. The voiceover ones especially, man.
They're pretty out there, man. What I always find funny as well, like, quickly, is I'll have like mums or that, which is it's a cool message to get, and they're like, oh, my wee boy is like so inspired by your videos, and I'm like, I'm absolutely tearing into Moz and all that in my videos. I'm like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, just sometimes I'm like, how can you find inspiration in that video? And I'm just tearing into somebody's maw. I
know. No, but at least it's still giving inspiration, mate.
It's still getting an impact, man. So that's the main thing, man, isn't it?
No, brilliant, mate. It's been a great chat, and cheers for coming on.
Nah, no problem, man. Thank you, bro.